Collins and HenricK, the wreck bring the chaos. Gaming news and industry talk, they got it all. Rage quitting, head banging, it's a metal brawl. Mental meltdown, gaming in flames. Chris and HenricK bringing the thunderous rage. Video games and viral content. Better games, ripping through pixels, the ultimate game to get around. The ultimate. Rave over, I'm feeling the rage. Chris Collins and HenricK on the stage, talking gaming news. Industry that can't escape, we're reviewing video games. No need to debate, they bring the heat, spitting truth non-stop with fiery words. They're ready to drop, making waves in the world of video games. Collins and HenricK, they don't play no games. From console wars to DLC scams, they expose it all, making sure no one jams. The audience fired up, ready to explode. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. You know it's a code. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. Rage quits. Rage quits. I'm losing my mind. Chris and HenricK, they're talking gaming all the time. Rage quits. Rage quits. It's a love-hate affair, but I keep coming back and nothing else to compare. Rage quit. It's a love-hate affair.
What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
You know what time it is, Chris. It's Wednesday night, and I'm here with the whole crew here.
That's right, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun. You, the gamers, we can't thank you guys enough for always tuning in live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without you guys, this show would not be possible. So we got a large community with us. We are streaming live right now on YouTube, X, and Twitch. And while we're at the start of the show, we think it's really important because we've noticed that a few of you gamers out there are not subscribed to our YouTube channel. So if you haven't followed me on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, where you can find all kinds of Rage Quit content and so much more, go ahead and scan the QR code. What are you waiting for?
Also, go ahead and scan that QR code. You'll go to my YouTube channel where I post clips from the show as well as memes and other content. So stay tuned, see what's on there, and join the conversation.
Yes, that's right. And that is the key line that HenricK the Wreck just spelled out. join the conversation. We want to hear from you gamers. I mean, this is such an amazing feature that we have with Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So wherever you're joining in the chat box, whether it's YouTube, X, or Twitch, let us know what's good, because there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be so beautifully just spelled out into the air from your boy Chris Collins. And, you know, I'm going to need your guys' feedback. Is there something outlandish that maybe HenricK might be saying throughout the show? We need to work together.
The
other way around. Well, you know what?
Around.
Bring the fire. Bring the fire. If you think you can handle this, I want to see that energy matched inside the chat room, fam. But hey, we always like to start off the show with a bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the world. So let's get it. This viral clip will make you rethink your excuses for not ranking up in video games, especially when you're playing with a fancy PC, an oversized screen, and enough FPS to make a NASA engineer jealous. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, man, let's get ahead and get the conversation started, because I think this is a real gamer after all.
Não, meu filho, CPU de última geração, meu filho. Tu é doido. Cara. Caralho, como é que é o nome disso aí mesmo, filho? Isso aí.
Skill issue or not, this guy is creative. He made that work somehow.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought that your utensils just lingering around, hopefully it's not on the ground, but, you know, being, you know, used to actually help you consume food or video games. But hey, let's go ahead and check out the first comment from this viral clip. That's a real gamer right there.
There you go.
Hands down.
Yep.
Totally with you. That is a badass lad. Next comment we got here is, dude using mouse and key on mobile and still died. You know, how does that work out? Because I know when I'm using a PlayStation controller, Bluetooth to my iPhone, I tend to feel like I got that advantage, at least when I'm playing the mobile app of Call of Duty. What about yourself, HenricK?
I don't know. I'm a mouse and keyboard person all the way. At least when it comes to shooters, I can't play with a controller. I lose my ability to aim properly.
Yeah, your thumb dexterity.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the guy who kills me countless times until I stress and uninstall the game.
Hey, skill issue, like I said.
Right, but I don't know if I've played a game in a long time where I've been so frustrated where I've completely canceled out the game. Is there something on the top of your dome that you can think about that's just made you so mad that you're like, bye-bye, Felicia?
You know, I know we run a show called Rage Quit, but I can't really recall the last time I rage quit a game, personally. I've gotten, you know, frustrated. Like, I've been playing through a bit of Elden Ring recently to try to get, at least in the save file I'm in, to the point of where we can get the DLC going.
Yeah, because they said 68% of gamers are still lagging. You cannot play the new DLC without beating the campaign story and with the original IP.
It's a challenge in some parts, I'll say that.
I mean, there is a very funny clip going around right now with Dr. Disrespect kind of leaving his traditional genre to go and play Elden Ring right now, because I'm sure he wants to be a part of the hype when the DLC drops. Well, it's not going that well for him. So, you know, we find out, we get, you know, we have to just stay humble every once in a while. And I know this next clip, this is the perfect encompass of like what gamers deal with night in and night off. And let me tell you right now, because nothing humbles you faster than realizing you're getting your ass kicked in Call of Duty by a mom who's casually streaming live while holding her baby. I mean, talk about next level parenting.
Marissa, I'm playing COD. You just got shitted on. For real. Just uninstall.
that kid's gonna grow up with so many people just raging at the mom and the mom trash talking them.
I don't know. I was starting to think that she's such a role model. I like that. That's multitasking at its
Yeah.
finest. You know, when you can be a boss mom and while still slaying it in Call of Duty. I got a lot of kudos for that. That is
Oh
next
yeah,
level
definitely.
parenting.
I
So
give
we got
you a
comments.
round of applause right
Right? Oh, just uninstall. So diabolical. I'm with you on that one. Just like the fact that even this person said her chirping is so nonchalant. She is my spirit animal. Yes, I was starting to think she's my role model. I mean, I don't know about you, HenricK, but I'm starting to think now, you know, as we get older, we start to forget the names of our, you know, our middle school teachers or high school teachers. I don't think I'll ever forget her. She's my role model after her. After all, I need to be more like her.
I think we
As
all
in-
need to be a bit more like her.
Yeah, because I'm not getting any W's recently in Warzone. Why is that the case? But anyways, she teaching one kid in real life and 50 in game. Yes, humble yourselves, young Padawans out there that are still jumping into the Call of Duty rain. It is not an easy task, and sometimes you might not know who's on the other end of the controller. But this wasn't the only clip that was circulating all across the globe, and the Summer Game Fest might have not showered us with new content, but hey, at least we got more exclusive peeks at games we already knew about. Kind of like raiding the fridge for leftovers instead of cooking up a feast, but hey, at least we got a legendary moment with Sam Lake from Remedy Entertainment. So it wasn't a total loot box letdown after all.
I think that's enough. Thank you.
Here's my goofy dance as I come up to talk to the kids. Is this what you like to do? That's what
You
I
know,
got from that.
He's probably, you know, the one uncle at, you know, at a bar mitzvah or, you know, or a wedding that just always is like, where's the Congo line? Why hasn't nobody started? I'll go first. We need more people like, you know, Sam Lake. I love the vibes. I love the energy. And let's go ahead and start reading the comments around this clip because Sam Lake, what a goat. Does a dance, announces a physical, deluxe, and collector's editions of Alan Wake 2, announces DLC that comes out in less than 24 hours, and then he just leaves. Goat. What did you think about all that, HenricK?
Yeah, I mean it's a moment for sure that probably will go down in people's memory from this show, especially considering that there wasn't a whole lot of good reception to the show otherwise.
Well, he set himself up for a meme, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you dislike this man, you dislike life. Yeah, like, I don't want to be around anybody who is just bringing out this negative energy in the air. I mean, I might have to be like Kyrie Irving. I'm going to have to burn a sage if you're going to be bringing bad juju vibes into my life. And now he's probably drinking coffee. What a goat. 100%. Finnish people be drinking a cup before sleep. Yes, I know. He is always having a cup in hand, and there's just something mysterious in the aurora of it all. When he just presents himself that way, we all get excited. I don't know about you, but like Alan Wake, that series is so freaking iconic. And if you haven't played it, what are you waiting for, gamers? But hey, this is Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show after all. And HenricK the Wreck and I were excited to be breaking down some gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. So are you ready to rock and roll, HenricK the Wreck?
Oh yeah, and I know what time it is. It's time to talk about a game.
Talk about a game, baby. That's right. Woo!
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, The Game. This game is based off the cult classic movie from 1988 of the same name, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So as expected, it's a horror game that takes plenty of elements from the movie in order to stay faithful to the source material. But what kind of game is this? Let's dive into the gameplay and find out. The gameplay of Killer Clowns is easily described as similar to Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. Specifically, the game is a multiplayer experience that puts players on two separate teams, one team of 3 clowns and another team of 7 humans. As you'd expect, the clowns hunt the humans while the humans are attempting to escape and evade the clowns. Humans have a few different ways to escape, ranging from a portal or bomb shelter to a boat or a simple gate. The team of humans must work together to fulfill the requirements for an exit and escape, but not everyone can exit the same way, so multiple exits will need to be worked towards. Conversely, the team of 3 clowns are attempting to stop the humans. This means finding them and killing them, but it won't be that simple regardless of all the tools you are given. Clowns have abilities like a cotton candy ray gun, hammer, and ability to teleport around the map, but humans can hide, fight back, and stun clowns, or even revive dead teammates. The game is over when time runs out or all humans escape the clowns. Playing into the 80s horror movie tropes, this game is wacky and full of camp, but how is the story? The story is simple and takes notes from the movie. Killer clowns from outer space have invaded the town and are rounding up the humans to kill them. Any survivors are forced to do what is necessary to escape the clutches of the killer clowns. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
Man, what a game that speaks to my inner horror fan, because I love this original movie. It's one of my all-time classic kind of horror films. You know, it's all about just these killer clowns that come out of nowhere from space and start just destroying a town. Like that's just a wacky concept, and I think that they really did a really good job with translating it from the movie to a game while still getting the same feel that the movie gives, where it's just wacky, it's campy, and that's the whole point.
I'm with you, Henrik. I've never seen this campy horror flick to this day. You know, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I recommend it.
No, I'm with you because after playing the official game, I'm ready to go grab some popcorn and finally witness this circus of chaos on the big screen. But I do have to kind of joke with you, Henrik. I know that you're a big movie, horror fanatic, but this supposed cult classic that I'm just now figuring out or hearing about because this became an official game is so forgotten that playing the game feels like wandering through a fog as Harry Mason in Silent Hill. You get lost, you're confused, and you're wondering if anyone else even remembers it exists. It's just like the movie.
Hey, there was a maze of this at Horror Nights last year, so I'm sure people remember. Maybe not everyone who didn't, but
that's the thing, though, Henrik. I'm a wuss. I do not participate in those kind of things no more. You will not see me participating at any Universal Horror or Not Scary Farm anytime soon. I've lived those glory days when I was a young wee lad, but I think it's appropriate for me now to just stay off really high roller coasters and very scary atmospheres. But I don't know about you, Henrik. I mean, did you get that kind of like horror out of this game or more of a thrill?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's really like you go into this expecting to be scared. It's more of a game that's all about collaborating with your teammates more than anything else. I mean, the setting is really secondary to that at the end of the day. And if you're not having a whole lot of fun, if you feel like the game plays a little annoying, you keep dying to the clowns, or you keep getting bullied by the humans, I think that's a skill issue at the end of the day, because you're really not supposed to be out there alone. You're supposed to be working with your teammates, regardless of whether you're with the clowns or the humans. You're not supposed to be alone. You know what happens in horror films when you're alone, right? You die.
That's true, but even with its original spin on a movie license in an oversaturated genre, I might add, this game feels like a clown at a kid's party. It might be colorful, trying its best to entertain, but ultimately leaving everyone wondering, I don't know about you, Henrik, but at least for myself, when the magician will show up to the party. Because the game's idea of thrill keeps players constantly on their toes, because that is the key feature about this game. Players are always doing something, and I think that's when, when it comes to the horror aspect, it's just as elusive as finding out a coherent plot in a B-horror movie, just like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That's the point. That's the whole point of that genre, though. Like, there's not supposed to be a good plot because it's not meant that way. It's meant to just be fun. You know, like how an action movie is fun. You go to it. You don't go to see a Mission Impossible movie for the plot. You go there to see Tom Cruise be Tom
Okay.
Cruise. You know, you
Okay,
go to see a
fair
horror
enough.
film like this or play a game like this to experience it being a horror film that makes no sense at all.
Okay, fair enough, and I hear you, but the game, I would argue, is like trying to catch a ghost with a butterfly net. It doesn't hold up, especially if we're going to start, comparing this game with the oversaturated genre, which brings the likes of iconic video game titles like Dead by Daylight. I just don't see this game holding up to contention with that game. And for me, the thrill and the horror of it all died very fast, just like how I must be the first guy to die in every horror film, supposedly. I'm finding that out about myself right now as we're speaking. So, with my verdict, I'm calling a pause on Killer Clowns from Outer Space. But if you are a horror fan or just into these kind of style of video games like Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, this might be refreshing for you. But for myself, it's a pause. How about yourself, HenricK the Wreck?
Yeah, I have to agree when it comes to you talking about the oversaturation because, yeah, definitely this is a game that's in competition with the giant that is Dead by Daylight, with so many different iconic horror franchises working with that one. It's
Yeah.
much more tempting to go to that rather than this because why would you limit yourself in that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact of typically when people pick a game to play, they pick a game that has a good amount of people playing it. And there's not going to be that many people playing this game after probably a few months compared to Dead by Daylight. That's going to be around. Now, I will say they can make it work if they keep putting out updates, but how long is that going to happen? You know, it's not really
Yeah.
expected from a game like this. It's kind of just like a party gimmick in a way, almost, you know, like a one night stand for the game of the week between the group, you know, but
No, I'm with you. I do think you're right. It does need updates, but it does need the support of, a cloud gaming service as well.
mm,
Because I don't personally believe people are going to be willing to want to spend the money, for the full price right now and to want to let this game longevity live out instead of dying as the first victim in a horror film. You
well,
might want to
maybe
consider that.
if they don't put this on a cloud service of some sort to entice more people to play it, maybe several months down the road, it won't be anytime soon, but like months down the road, if they see a decline in player count, they might do something like, make it free to play, or at least in some respect free to play. You know, maybe free to
Yeah,
try,
but that
and then you'll
opens
have
up
to
the
unlock
doors for
things.
season passes and
Yeah,
all that
but
kind of
it
stuff.
would get more people to actually play the game because there's less of the barrier to entry of, oh man, I have to pay money to even try this. Come on, I don't want to do that.
Try lending that kind of same advice to Rocksteady Studios.
Oh,
Suicide Squad killed the
too
Justice League. It
soon, too
literally,
soon.
it literally killed the whole presence, of that
Yeah, you're
entire
right.
iconic IP that could have been something so freaking awesome, but is not. But hey, guys, you heard it from us. It is definitely a pause for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. But we want to
Yeah,
hear from
I want
you
it to be
gamers.
a repeat. I do, I really do. But I just feel like for the majority of people, it's not going to be the game to choose, and that's why it's a pause.
That's right. And hey, this is also another important reminder to let you, the gamers that are tuning in live for Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, join the conversation. We want to hear from you guys, whether you're tuning in from YouTube, X, and Twitch. Join the chat box. You will be featured as a lower third throughout the show. So let's bring the good vibes. Let's bring the good energy because the show isn't even close to being ended anytime soon. So
Yeah,
you
we
ready to
got
rock and
still
roll?
plenty of chances to rage about stuff.
Oh, yeah, big time. And trust me, we want to hear from you gamers. You ready to rock and
Yes.
roll, HenricK the Wreck?
Absolutely. Let's go and get it.
Let's get it, baby. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. Activision set the record straight on Black Ops 6 file size. No, it's not a whopping 309 plus gigabytes, but just for the one singular game. But let's show the clarification live on screen. We come to find out that includes everything but the kitchen sink. Full installations of Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, every content pack, and even all the languages you'll never use is all being packaged together. So don't worry, your hard drive won't need to file for bankruptcy just yet, even
But
though
you know what's
all
real
the...
funny?
What's
you know
that,
what's real
Henry?
funny is that it was believable that it was going to be 309 gigabytes because these games are so huge, man. I don't get
yeah.
it.
Oh, massively. And I'm just such a hater of the whole idea that they're packaging them all together, but we will break that down in a little bit. But we want to further explore this whole kind of rage or excitement around this whole idea. But Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is saving your hard drive with texture streaming, but you'll need a constant internet connection to play anything, even the campaign and zombie mode. So gamers storm the web to voice their thoughts on the news with the following. So let's go ahead and read the first tweet that we got here. So this is Charlie Intel. He is an awesome lad of all things Call of Duty. And 2 days later, the Black Ops reveal trailer has passed 40 million views on the Call of Duty YouTube. It's now the second most watched reveal trailer on Call of Duty channel, just behind Infinity Warfare.
It's something. I mean, people are definitely excited about it. It's just we have things to go over that are a little concerning based on what we know so far, and I think people need to be concerned, honestly.
Maybe it has a large viewership because we're actually getting something new, not just a lot of recycled crap
You
or,
know,
old maps and stuff.
That is true, considering what is the last two games were reboots of previous
Reboots
titles.
and just seeing the same kind of maps that we see in Call of Duty Mobile, but then just being brought as being as like, oh yeah, this is, something that we all asked for. No, we didn't.
Yeah,
At least
we
I
didn't
did
ask.
it. PS4 users, after downloading 300 gigabytes of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Yes. Hold on. Be safe out there when it gets closer to 4th of July. Don't be like all those knuckleheads showing up to, downtown beach, places here in Southern California, raising anarchy. Don't be that guy.
Yeah,
and maybe upgrade your system.
If you thought that your PS4 sounded like a jet engine, well, it's going to take off now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
actually going to take off.
You might want to get yourself a parachute just in case if you try to hold down your PlayStation 4 and you start flying in the air, you're going to need a way to come back down, my friend. The next comment that we got here is laughing my ass off to reduce storage, but it's still 300 gigabytes. Exactly. I mean, that's wild to me. I mean, there's 300 gigabytes is still 300 gigabytes, especially when I'm thinking on the top of my dome, HenricK, and I know it's not a bunch of games combined together, but X Defiant, right? 30 gigabytes on the PlayStation 5, and then we see this. Oh, it just drives me up a wall. Next comment we got here is me behind her while she buys me Black Ops 6.
Hey, that couldn't be me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it couldn't be me either. I'm happily single in my 30s, so this won't be happening anytime soon. But hey, if you're like myself, you might want to get yourself the Xbox Gaming Pass because you could be playing it day one without finding or chasing yourself a chick or whatever your sexual preference is. Next comment we got here is Real Zombies back! Yes, I'm excited for that. Round-based more than anything.
That's true. I mean, the last iteration of Zombies was just... It was not a hit. That was a hard pause for me.
Yeah, because you want a sense of guidance, you know what I'm saying? And I think something about round-based zombies where it doesn't have to be so massive on a large scale. And I guess you got to give a little bit of kudos for, Activision for even trying to throw it out there and seeing if it sticks or not. But, the overall community just couldn't vibe with it.
They tried to make it too much like a Warzone version of Zombies, and that's not what people want out of Zombies. They want the formula that has been around since the first Black Ops. Doesn't need it You just add new maps, new things to do, and you're solid. That's all you
I'll
need
tell
to do.
you something that's not being added. Imagine if Fortnite wiped all your cosmetics and forced you to pay $70 for the next chapter every year. And if you didn't find out the news, you're learning it the hard way here on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So go ahead and start raging wherever you're watching this show. So breaking news, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 content won't carry forward to Black Ops 6. I find that to be extremely problematic, HenricK, because why would
Yeah.
Activision mash together Modern Warfare 2, 3, and Warzone with Black Ops 6 if your paid add-on content doesn't hitch a ride? I mean, we want to give a bunch of shit towards Ubisoft, for example, for, creating this tier paid system shenanigans, but this is a whole new level of gaming mix-up. What do you think
No,
about
yeah,
this whole situation?
It's just a little scummy because, I mean, think about it. How many people are paying probably hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for all these store items and cosmetics that they're just accolading inside of this game? And it's been 2 games that have, been able to transfer over the stuff. So it's 2 games worth of content that you're now throwing out the window for these people, and all of a sudden they gotta buy things all over again for a different game.
Yeah,
It's really one of the biggest arguments why maybe we shouldn't have a Call of Duty release that's a full different game every single year, because things like this are going to happen if they don't put in the effort to make it transferable.
Yeah, fair enough. And this also kind of reminds me of the same malarkey that even the Eminem Fortnite skin did. You know how usually they're always if you get one artist, all the skins kind of packaged together? They sold 3 different individual M&Ms. And could you imagine you bought all 3 and then Fortnite just goes, hey, we got this new 2.0. We're leaving this whole Unreal Engine and we're switching on to this whole new, model or different approach. So all that kind of stuff just doesn't carry on forward. Sorry, guys. Thanks for supporting us all this years. But you guys do realize you don't own anything. You're just, purchasing a license to be able to run our game. This
People
is why
would
it becomes.
riot.
Oh, people would absolutely riot. And also I want to touch on too, HenricK, is this whole conversation about texture streaming. The more I think about it, this whole online constant internet connection, even when it comes to the campaign mode. Don't you feel like this is just another push from studio companies to maybe, bump the elbow a little bit to be like, you guys need to start implementing a lot more constant internet connection because we're trying to make cloud gaming a bit more prevalent. So if we don't get gamers used to it now that are not in line with streaming services, well, they're going to kind of get forced into that notion.
Yeah, maybe at least a little bit. I'm sure that's where they would like you to go and buy the game, is through Game Pass rather than, buy it standalone.
Yeah.
Because maybe the metrics say, hey, if you have Game Pass, you're more inclined to keep it. If you're going to play Call of Duty all the time through it, and maybe you'll be more inclined to buy cosmetics because you didn't pay the full price of the game. There's probably metrics like that they're looking at. But I would like to say at the same time, they're probably wanting a bit more control when it comes to having to need that constant internet connection. Because it was the same thing with every game that requires a constant internet connection, even with a single player mode. It's all about being able to control what is done with the game. And if I'm correct, I know there's a lot of people out there on YouTube who do zombies content, we'll say, for example. And they take Black Ops 3, we'll say, and they mod the game, add in new maps, new weapons, more things to do. You're not going to be able to do that if you have a constant internet connection, because the game's going to say, hey, I see you have a mod installed. That's a no-no.
Well,
you're not going to play the game right now until you uninstall that.
And I hear where you're going with this, HenricK, but I'm starting to think this is more to do with the parts of, this has been kind of the joke with a lot of these video game studios and developers that, they got these shareholders in the mix, and typically a lot of these shareholders don't play video games. So what's the one way to try to convince the shareholders to kind of keep sending the money forward? Well, you got to show something on an Excel sheet, right? And so
Yeah.
what would make it everything better in the world than to show that, constant internet connection with users dialing up, logged in with an Activision account? That can heavily convince people to invest more money into it. It's the same kind of approach that Helldivers 2 was getting slammed over about, where, Sony was pressuring them to be like, we need these people to be logged in as Sony users, because the same thing applies. We're not going to be pushing forward with any kind of more development in-game or even a potential new game around that same studio company if you can't prove the retention from gamers with your IP.
Yeah, you're definitely on the nose with that. It's all about the numbers that they're showing to their shareholders, and it sucks because we don't see that side as the gamers. All we see is, oh, now we have to be online all the time. And like, I get it, and some side of me does want to support the developers, and make sure that they are still open, especially when we've seen so many studios close for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, come on, the shareholders, they're never going to learn, and they're always going to, move the goalpost further and further away because they want to see numbers go up and not down. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a losing battle regardless of what you do. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to the gamers, we're just going to have to deal with it, unfortunately.
Yeah, big time, because it seems like the momentum and the hype is real around Black Ops 6. I know a lot of gamers out there still love this iconic franchise as much as we love to talk shit about the practices that they are going about when it comes to add-on content, storage size, and so much more. But hey, clearly people aren't going to show it with their wallets. I have a feeling they're going to, break blockbuster numbers all over again, and it just kind of sucks because it just continues this notion that live service gaming and all that kind of stuff is not going away anytime soon. But we want to hear from you, the gamers. Join the conversation. Let us know what's good. But HenricK,
But talk about a game
sir.
that is not going to be hundreds of gigabytes big.
Yeah.
Lego games have always had a thing for licensed properties dating back to Lego creator Harry Potter in 2001. So from Batman to Marvel, Lord of the Rings to Star Wars, they've built blocky worlds out of them all.
All of them.
Yeah. And I mean, think about it. There's so many out there.
Yeah.
But now they're taking on a new challenge. Lego Horizon Adventures, a game
Ooh, I'm
about
excited for this.
a video game.
So
Let's
we
take
do
a
have a
'cause
look
we
at
do have
this.
a clip.
Yeah, I'm stomping on your words. I got so excited. You're like, come on, bro. Shut up. Play the video.
Lego is tackling a single-player RPG, proving that video games are not just mainstream entertainment, but also inspiring new layers of creativity in the toy world.
Yeah,
It's like
that's true.
Inception, but with more bricks.
Yeah.
But we do have gamers responding to the announcement with the following comments.
Yes, we do. Let's go ahead and break down the first comment. The fact that Ashley Burch is playing the same character, just slightly different, is amazing. You know you're talented when you can flip it like that. Yeah, putting on a little bit of more of a charming appeal, because this is going to be a very kid-friendly game. But I know anybody that's played this on, wherever, what PC, console, whatever, and if you haven't, oh my gosh, what are you waiting for? Next comment we have here.
It's
Go for it, HenricK.
definitely a great feat that the actress can do that, and I applaud that.
Yeah, absolutely. I relate to this comment. Playing Lego Horizon on Switch would make me question if I'm in a parallel universe, and that's how I felt when I suited up with a badass PC rig and I started playing, Halo on the computer, but then I don't have an Xbox controller at the pad that I'm at right now, and so playing Halo on a PS4 controller definitely felt very weird. So I can only imagine playing Lego Horizon on the Switch is going to be similar to that experience. What do you think, HenricK?
Well, it is the version that the Switch is going to get because the Switch can't handle the some of the games that are out there. So
So you're talking along the lines of all those memes going around with Homelander and Mortal Kombat.
His face in Mortal Kombat being so expressionless compared to the other version.
It can't keep up. Finally, a Lego game where the world is actually made out of Legos. I'd have to go back and start playing some of these games. Last I recall, majority of it is Legos, but yeah.
What is that comment? What do you mean by that?
But hey, 524 people clearly felt the same sentiment. Next comment we have here is shooting off machine parts makes way more sense when they're all made of Lego. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it does make for an interesting visual at least.
Oh, that is not the comment I wanted to share. I accidentally posted that up. But hey, this is the next one that we have here. If it's coming to the Switch, then the PS4 can run this game easily. And last, how about Lego Resident Evil?
Now that'd be interesting, considering that's a title that is not made for kids, and they'd have to make it for kids.
But
or maybe they wouldn't have to, I guess. But
I don't know if Lego is necessarily just for kids anymore. I mean, they've been celebrating the NBA Finals. I know it's currently on right now as we speak. But there have been some of these professional athletes that are way too into Lego in real life. I think that is really, really cool. If you have the money, I think I'd be doing the same thing too, fam. But HenricK, is Lego Horizon Adventures going to be so meta that we'll need a Lego instruction manual just to understand the plot twists?
Well, I mean, we'll have to see how that story is, but depending on what kind of person you are on your media literacy, maybe you will need an instruction manual, and maybe they can just put that in the game. Why not, Here's the instruction manual, go and build your stuff. And also here's an explanation of the story while we're at it.
I think this is such a strong push to bring an already beloved video game franchise to a Lego video game, because think about just how awesome this female character Alloy is. I mean, she's the perfect video game character to be the next Lego featured star, because just think about, for anybody that's never played the game, the story revolves around piecing together her own history and the history of the Earth's apocalypse. That alone just warrants just so much grand opportunity that could be carried on to a younger audience. And I've said this previously in past seasons of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. I've always felt that, Horizons definitely deserves to have a TV adaptation. I don't want to see it on the big screen. I think this is a video game that could be fleshed out into multiple episodes, and to see that it's being pushed to, a smaller audience that could potentially be, branded even further. Very promising. I'm excited.
Yeah. Now we have to see what's going to come out in holiday 2024. That's going to completely mog this game, because it happens with all the Horizon releases where, the game will come out and all of a sudden another game will come around and just completely destroy all the hype everyone has about the Horizon game, because they're all hyped about that instead. It happened when Breath of the Wild came out and the first Horizon game came out. Everyone was focused on Breath of the Wild. And when Forbidden West came out, everyone was focused on Elden Ring instead. So
that's a good point.
See if they even get a chance this time.
But this is the first Lego game to be based on a AAA single-player role-playing game, also known as RPG, and the original Horizon game sold over 32 million copies worldwide. I think that is so freaking cool, and it is much deserved. So, shout out to Guerrilla Games. I mean, you guys have clearly made a franchise that's going to live the test of time, and I'm just excited for them. I think that is so freaking cool. But we want to hear from you gamers. Is this going to be on your radar? Is this going to be something that you're going to be wanting to play during the holiday season? Because I know when the Harry Potter Legos was around, and even the Star Wars, I was always on top of it, and I know this game is going to be making me feel that same kind of energy and vibes as well. So, hey, this is an awesome even reminder as well. I love this lower third that you're throwing up. Get involved in the live chat, fam, wherever it's YouTube, X, and Twitch. Join the conversation, and you can be featured live on air, just like this beautiful lower third. So I think this is a perfect transition.
You know, speaking of games on the horizon,
I love your wordplay.
tell us about some other games on the horizon coming from a different studio.
Yeah, a very new studio. And at this year's Summer Game Fest, Blumhouse Games unveiled a lineup that's more twisted than a pretzel in a horror movie. Get ready for a farming sim where the only crop is terror, and a first-person shooter where the blood is literally on your hands. Literally, because you're using it as ammo. Who needs saints when you've got a creepy statues to battle? And we're going to go ahead and check out a little bit of Blumhouse Games gaming reveals. Let's check it out, fam.
Hey, for a studio's first attempt at this, it seems pretty promising. We'll just have to see how it goes later down the road, because we do have more details, right?
Yes, we do. Blumhouse Games is rolling out a lineup that sounds like a horror movie marathon you can play. From Fear the Spotlight to Crisol, Theater of Idols, Grave Seasons, The Simulation, to Sleep Awake, and the mysterious Project C. Blumhouse wants to scare up some fun with video games, aiming for an indie budget that's spookily similar to most horror movies. Under $10 million. I wonder if they're really going to pull this off, because I think it's going to be really, really hard. And don't worry, you won't have to wait too long to wet your pants. Fear the Spotlight is creeping onto the screens this year, while the others are still brewing in the cauldron of development. So let's go ahead and check out some of the comments around Blumhouse Games reveal. Ignoring the salty people here talking about movies as if they had anything to do with the people working on these games. This looks very cool, and I'm looking forward to several of the games, to be honest. What do you think about that comment, HenricK?
Yeah, it has a very indie feel to it, and I believe that's what they're going for, is more of the indie feel, especially based on the budget that they're giving themselves for these games. You're not expecting them to be AAA quality, and we shouldn't expect that either, really, going into them. But hey, I'm open to seeing what they do, and what they've shown so far looks cool.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I have lost a little bit of controlling on my end, HenricK. Could you go ahead and click the next comment for me?
Yes. I need to find it.
Oh, I got you, bro. I got you. I think I'm back in this. The next one that we got here is, you got to love the beauty of live streaming. Why isn't this studio making games based off of movies they don't own the rights to? Half of the comments here, yes, some people felt like, why are you giving us fresh stuff when you could just use the movie IPs that you already have?
Yeah, that's true. They have some good IPs already. I'm sure they could make a game off of Megan if they wanted to, for example, and people would love that. But at the same time, they're being ambitious, so let's let them cook.
But, I think Megan is a perfect example that you just brought up right now, because I don't think that game would, or that movie, matter of fact, would not work for a video game aspect, especially if you haven't seen the game. I don't want to, spoil the ending of it, but it is such a, I did not see that coming. And I think this is a good approach for Blumhouse Games to drop something a bit more refreshing instead of having people clamor on them for going, why are you so freaking cheap, only spending under $10 million on such an iconic movie that you guys have developed to only butcher it because you guys have gotten so cheap? I think that is a very, very fair point. Let's go ahead and read the next comment.
Yeah, good point.
Nah, this is going to be fire. I'm playing all of them. Will you be playing all of them? I thought some of them looked a little cheesy. What do you think, HenricK?
No, yeah, some of them are a little cheesy, but I do like the atmosphere of Fear the Spotlight, and a couple of the other ones look really cool too. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. My eye is fixated on it, and we're gonna keep an eye on it for the show too.
That's right. Not going to lie, these games look way better and more interesting than their movies do. The simulation in particular piqued my interest. Yeah, I was actually the Project C towards the tail end that they were kind of hyping up to be most likely the one that has a little bit more dinero thrown at it. And did look kind of good, especially when I'm starting to think of Horizons or The Last of Us, going into the 150 to the 200 million plus budget. I mean, gosh, if they could set a standard for developing games to not be so rigorous, with funding, you guys might set something right in the gaming industry. The return of PS1 style graphics. Let's go. That was the game that I kind of thought was a little cheesy, the Fear the Spotlight. But hey, if it ends up working out, we are still playing this Tomb Raider remastered after all. So, there might be a niche of gamers into it.
Well, that style of graphics have definitely come back in the fans' minds recently. There's been even just fan projects of games that are demakes. Like there's a demake of Bloodborne called Nightmare Cart, and it's in the PS1 style of graphics as well.
That's okay. That's true. Not everybody needs all that, 120 frames per second and all that, fidelity like we see in Hellblades 2 after all. If you just make a good game, we'll play it. But applying the Blumhouse model of low budget plus high concept to games is actually a great idea. Interested to see how this plays out. It's either going to be a great idea or everybody's going to be clowning them till eternity. So, HenricK, is Blumhouse planning to haunt the gaming world with their budget tactics, or will video game monsters demand a bigger paycheck than their silver screen counterparts?
Let's let them cook and see how this goes. If it goes well, they'll probably keep doing it, maybe give it a little bit more budget. But I want to say that's what they want to not happen. They don't want to have it be that the projects that they work on next end up having budgets that balloon further beyond, to extents that some of the Sony developed games have gotten to, of like Last of Us having over 200 million for a budget. Like that is just a lot.
It seems mind-boggling, especially with all the new tech out there. You would think that would be downsizing the cost of developing games, not increasing it. And I know Blumhouse Games says it's focused on an indie budget below $10 million per project, and that includes the console, the PC, and mobile audiences. And Fear the Spotlight will drop later this year while the other titles are still in development, while I still feel like they could throw a little bit of salt into the cauldron. I think, they don't have to just stick to this model. I would like to see them branch from that. But maybe this is just a test to kind of see with these, style of independent developers, whether they want to kind of keep this team together or not. But I got to say, HenricK, watching this trailer, we need more spine-chilling games more than ever. And can you imagine the iconic moments that can be made by gamers streaming online, having their soul sucked into oblivion by being scared senselessly, playing Blumhouse games? Do you have faith that Blumhouse games can crack the code?
Well, indie games have already been taking the spotlight in the industry more so than ever. And yeah, Blumhouse is not an indie studio when it comes to movies, but this is their first crack at gaming. And with them taking an indie approach to things, as long as they keep that kind of energy that indie developers have already tapped into, all they need to do then is just grab the indie scene of gamers and they're solid at that
Yeah,
point.
we'll end up seeing what ends up happening with them because they really feel like they're going to be doing like the Purge effect. You know what I'm saying? Like or Paranormal Activity. I think it was one. Someone's going to correct me in the chat, but they had like a $3 million budget and then it soared into the 300 million. I don't
Yeah, I believe
necessarily
that was
see
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, like Blumhouse games, I do not see with this kind of style lineup. None of that's going to happen anytime soon, but we'll see. Do you guys feel like this is promising? Is this something that's on your radar going into the horror season of the fall, October month? Let us know what's good. But HenricK, I think it's time, baby. Let us know what's good.
Yep. Reddit is at it again, stirring the pot with a debate on which video game turned a game company into the digital equivalent of a sad clown at a birthday party.
Very, very sad clown.
Gamers shared their thoughts on the debate with the following comments.
Yes, they did. Pachinko ruined Konami. At first I didn't even know what Pachinko was, and I shouldn't even know what Pachinko was. I went to Japan and I saw these, but I didn't really literally know the name. But HenricK, you explain it so much better. For anybody that's listening, what is that?
To put it simply, it's a gambling machine that is very common in Japan. And what Konami did essentially is after Metal Gear Solid 5 and how that game didn't get finished around that time frame, they decided to focus on pachinko machines because that made them more money. And what they would do instead is they slapped in the faces of people who liked Konami games like Silent Hill and slapped Silent Hill branding on the pachinko machines.
But do you blame them, HenricK? I mean, come on. When you go to Las Vegas and you see the Wheel of Fortune slot machine, are you not going to run over there and throw $20 in and waste your money just to hope that you can spin the big wheel? I know I would.
Yeah, maybe to try. But hey, that is why gambling makes so much money. Because people just want to at least try one time, right?
So true. EA for killing the Command & Conquer franchise and SimCity 5. Is that the no-number always online SimCity that had no expandable land? Fair.
Yeah, it was sad to see Command & Conquer especially go away because that whole genre has not really been touched in a long time. It's been now dominated by MOBAs instead, which is kind of a branch off of RTS, but
no,
it's not really the same.
I would argue that it's actually, most of the EA's focus is on college football 25.
Yeah,
and then
when
now,
you look at EA especially, yeah.
Do you think that even EA is starting to panic if college football 25 becomes this big success? Will Madden really have to kind of shift gears on a level just to be able to retain that audience, or is it just going to be like that stupid fad, where like college football 25 is like Black Ops 6 marketing? Hey, we got Omni movement coming to our game where you can dive backwards while shooting, and it's like, I don't really think that even that feature is going to be that badass once it comes out.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens when college football comes out, but they're definitely looking at other games and not Command & Conquer.
Yes. BioWare and Anthem. In fairness to BioWare, if you look into it, they had no chance to succeed. It'd be like if a teacher continually changed the assignment over and over again and responded to the complaints with, quote, "But you're a straight A student. You can handle it," end quote.
Yeah, Anthem was probably their biggest disappointment, and I don't know if you saw, Chris, but Dragon Age, they're making another one.
Yeah.
And their recent trailer has been getting downvoted because no one likes where it's going. So
Yeah,
it's not a good look for them.
But I also saw with the part of that drama too was the fact that everybody was mad that it was the gaming director is trans. And that's where a lot of the negativity is coming from. So stupid. If the story can carry the game, then you're gonna play it, gamers. Don't let all that political or sociological, just the culture of it all. Like, leave all that nonsense out. If the game's good, the game's good. That's what I'm trying to spell out for all the gamers out there.
I agree.
Next comment we got here is, oh shoot, I accidentally posted the wrong comment there. Oh my gosh, did it again. Diablo Immortal. Not that Blizzard wasn't turning to shit before that, but Immortal was such a oblivious Or obviously predatory anti-consumer turd. There is no redemption in sight for my part. Edit. Typo. Diablo Immortal has achieved an impressive milestone in its first year on the market. Mobile spinoff Diablo Immortal has reportedly earned US $525 million in its first year on the market, becoming the 15th fastest mobile game to cross the US $500 million mark. It sucks when they're incentivized to pretty much switch to that model exclusively. What do you think about all that, HenricK? I mean, as much as it sucked, people don't like it, it clearly made them some money.
Well, there's a reason why Diablo Immortal was called by some people Diablo Immoral, because it was just one of those games that preys on people who have a huge sense of FOMO, of fear of missing out on certain things in games, and that one was very predatory in the sense of playing on FOMO. And
Yeah.
yeah, it made them money, but at what cost,
At
Blizzard?
what cost? That's so true, my man. 2042 and DICE. It's not like they were my favorite game company, but with Battlefield 1, 2, 3, and 4, and especially Battlefield Bad Company 2 fairly high up, then Battlefield 5 showed us a glimpse of where we were heading already, and 2042 sealed it. I also have zero hope of getting another good Battlefield in the future. Why? I mean, yes, we understand the same runoff joke with 2042 is it's like, dude, we just literally had a previous title show buildings just get demolished, and then they
Yeah.
add in the silly weather features, which were cool and all, but if you're not going to have both together, yeah, that sucks. But hate to break it to you, Battlefield's already in the works right now, and it's most likely going to be a live service game. And I think they're getting a lot of the feedback from fans of old and new. I have some good faith that this whole idea is going to get reversed. What do you think, HenricK?
Yeah, they'll probably spring back, considering that 2042 was their last title, so they haven't had a track record of failing multiple times yet. But also, I could see why some people are a little cautious about what's going on with them, based on the fact that 2042 was such an abysmal failure at launch. It's better now, but the whole thing is when you fail a launch, it's the same sort of thing that you can see in one of the bigger examples of a failure at launch, which is Cyberpunk. There's people today that still think that Cyberpunk is a trash game, even though it got fixed for the most part, because the launch was terrible. You couldn't play the game. And
You
it
know
was the
what
same thing with
also had a
2042.
terrible You know what also had a terrible launch? Rocksteady with Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
This. The Arkham trilogy, Origins, as well, even though that wasn't Rocksteady, is one of my, if not my favorite gaming franchises. I wasn't expecting another Batman game from them, but I was so excited for whatever they came up with next. To see the drouse that is Suicide Squad come out is just so disappointing and heartbreaking, really. Yes, I feel all the sentiment that was shared within this Reddit debate. But HenricK, which game turned a once beloved gaming company into a digital dumpster fire? Have you thought about it?
I held on to hope for Blizzard for a while. They had been on a steady decline for a while up until Overwatch 2 came out. And then when Overwatch 2 came out, I gave it a fair shake. I gave it a chance to, show me what it's all about. Show how this is worthy of having the number 2 behind it. And they did not show that to me properly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I, just to even kind of, continue off from that, one of the, comments from one of the Reddit users, Rocksteady Studios, yeah, that was very unfortunate, especially, switching from a live service multiplayer games, leaving their strength, which is creating single player games, I think was a massive fall, and there have been, developers that have been a part of the Suicide Squad team have been coming out anonymously to different sources, publications out there saying that, just the behind the scenes work was just, it was such a bummer to them. I know a lot of them were reporting that, they were working on a multiplayer puzzle game and then quickly shifted gears once Warner Brothers Studios right here in Hollywood traveled to London to meet with Rocksteady Studios to say, forget whatever silly game you guys are making. You need to make this into a Suicide Squad game because of the success of the 2016 movie with Will Smith, by the way, which wasn't that good. The next one was better. But
Yeah.
they saw that, with the budget, I think it was about 175 million, then, pulling in at the box office over 675 million. They felt like we got so much so much good vibes coming our way, it could easily be applied to the video game world. Oh, by the way, I know you guys are popular in single-player games, but please add all the add-on content and the shitty battle pass, and look what we got now. A game that's completely killed, not by the Suicide Squad, but actually from Warner Brothers Studios. That was a freaking damn shame.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that Warner Brothers, they see the numbers and they see that Hogwarts Legacy was their best-selling title of last year. Wouldn't you think that, doing that might actually be beneficial? Single-player experiences that people
I think
want?
they know now. I think they know now, Henrik. But
well, they said that the next Hogwarts game is going to be a live service game, unless now they've changed their mind on that, which they might have.
I know a lot of gaming studios and developers are taking a real, magnifying glass to this, and they're heavily studying, the downfall of this video game because, maybe, when you have Captain Boomerang and he's not using his iconic boomerang and you replace it with all guns aspect, yeah, that could kill it too. But you know what? There's another game I'm also thinking about too, HenricK, and another gaming company, and that would be Starfield. It crashed and burned like a lost satellite. But can you even fathom the uproar if Bethesda botches the highly anticipated Elder Scrolls 6? That would be like dragons raining down on their headquarters.
Funny thing about that, it was just, I think, the 6th year anniversary recently, like a few days ago, of the announcement of Elder Scrolls 6, and there has been nothing since. Like, they announced that way too far in advance with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that's like, us waiting around for Rockstar Games to finally drop, the new Grand Theft Auto, only for it to be just a complete mess. That would be such a bummer. And then there's another one that kind of keeps into mind, and, as a loyal PS5 gamer, I don't really see Sony as a digital dumpster fire, because if I did, I wouldn't have bought a PS5. That's not what I'm saying, but it did feel like I wanted to say this, a part of this conversation, HenricK, but every time I jump on Twitter, and it happens, it feels like every 3 or 4 months, I see a tweet from the gaming director for Days Gone, and he crushes our hopes every single time for a sequel to come up. I feel like I'm always being hit with a virtual sledgehammer every single time.
Yeah,
Come
didn't
on,
you say
Sony.
recently, Sony was not a fan, so it's not happening.
I mean, they showed like this poster that was being shared on X, and it was like all their beloved, characters from the Sony world, and who was left off? Days Gone. It just feels like, Sony, don't leave us hanging like a cliffhanger in the ending of a horror movie. Please. Why do you guys have to keep doing this to us? Bring back Days Gone. And if you haven't played it, oh my gosh, play it like crazy so they can heavily consider it. Please. Thank you. But man, we want to hear from you guys. Is there something out there where there's a game that came out that just ruined a gaming company for you? Join the conversation. Let us know what's good or just really, really bad and god-awful.
Yeah, let us know, because maybe there's something we didn't think of or wasn't in the comments, and I'm sure you have some thought out there, you watching right now, so let us know.
Come on now. But hey, we want to thank everyone for tuning in to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show. And, there are people out there that have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, so do yourself a service. Keep up with all the beautiful content that's always on my channel. Always love the continuous support, and I love when you guys join the conversations under the videos. Very much appreciated.
And if you scan that QR code, you'll go to my YouTube channel, where I'd like you to go like, comment, subscribe. You know the whole drill. We've been doing this for a while at this point, I think. And yeah, join the conversation. Watch some memes, have some fun. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes, sir. And we do have an announcement that we want to let you guys know. We will be off next week and back stronger than ever for the season 5 finale of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So next Wednesday, June 19th, we will have no show, but we will be back for June 26th, Wednesday, live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And thank you, gamers. Have a blast the rest of the week, and we will see you in 2 weeks from now.